How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all well. So I'm going to do another figure unboxing, but this time it's slightly different in that it's not based on an anime or a video game, no IP like that. So this figure here is based on the illustrations by some illustrator who I don't really know either, but I'll leave a Twitter link for that illustrator. And they've got some really cool illustrations they've done. And this particular character is from this series of illustrations called A to Z, I believe it is. And I'm guessing each letter has an illustration or a character attached to it. In this case here, this is the first figure. It's starting with S. Pretty random, I know. So this came out a little while ago, so I had to pay a little bit extra to get it. I managed to find it at Nin Games, and it just looked really cool. So this manufacturer who made this is actually Myethos, so it's not Kotobuki or anything like that. Myethos have made some pretty cool figures. I don't own any, but just looking at some of the stuff they've done stuff that is predominantly from Arena of Valor, Honor of Kings. So really cool looking characters designs, but I don't really play that game anyway. So I decided to pick this up. Pretty random. I usually stick to things that I'm already attached to or associated with in terms of like, past history, like knowing or playing Final Fantasy games, things like that. So this is pretty original and off the cuff for me personally. But I liked it. It looks really cool. And here's the packaging, and we're going to go through the figure. But straight away, the packaging, to me, in my opinion, is pretty unique. So I've seen some Kotobuki stuff that is kind of similar to this, but it still uses a lot of color and sometimes a lot of card as well. So the Kotobuki stuff or Artifact stuff I've got right now is just the Pokemon stuff, the trainer series. But this is pretty clean. It's just a completely clean, for the most part, let's say, outer plastic box and just a little bit of detailing. Like when I say a little bit, it's like these lines down here. That's basically, and then that text here that says noblesse oblige. I have no idea what the relation is with that and this character. So noblesse oblige basically means if you're, like, I had to look this up by the way. So basically, you should be responsible if you're in a place of higher power or something. Basically, great power with great responsibility, like Uncle Ben says, right? But it's actually from the British or French British or something like that. You can look it up. This is the character S, and on the back it says Stricia. I don't know how to pronounce it properly in Italian, I'm guessing. And I had to look that up too, and that means strip, and I have no idea what that is in relation to this character. Again, S is the character, this is maybe its name, I don't know. I can take a wild guess. Maybe you guys know, I'm not too aware of it. But then you got the Myethos logo over here who makes this figure. So presented by Myethos at the bottom here. So it's pretty faint, but it's a very, 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 very clean box. Just see the leaflets inside as well. So yeah, there's actually not a lot to talk about, but there is in that it's so clean that I want to keep pointing that out, that sometimes we don't need all these kind of, frankly, sometimes ugly looking boxes that are overpacked and just like oversized for the figure inside. So this is actually nicely packed, pretty compact, and it just looks nice to even just keep it on display. So this I would like to see more of from other manufacturers for sure. But let's get the figure open. So with the transparent box, we already saw there were some inserts in there. So the first insert is just basically a Myethos business card, like so. And then the next one is more relevant. So this is the A to Z S assembly manual, S being this character. It's just black and white inside. So you've got the main figure, you've got to attach the right arm to the main figure, and then put the figure to the base, and then add the weapon holster by the straps as well. So really, really simple to do, and it's pretty clear instructions, and then you're ending with the figure like so. On the back, nothing major. So this is character S in the A to Z line. So let's kind of go through as much as we can from top to bottom. So straight away, we've got the really nice light blue hair. So giving a closer look at the hair, you can see how nicely it's been painted. You've got white highlights going on in the hair as well. Now, apologies if my lights are too bright. So the blue on the hair might end up being a little bit too bright. So it ends up looking a little bit more on the white side and too light blue. But in person, the hair looks really, really nice. Really sky blue looking color. Really like the highlights going on there. Really, really nicely sculpted as well with the different strands going on. So really beautifully done in my opinion. And then the hair is ended with this little lotus flower, I believe. So I'm just going to try to lift this up, give you a closer look. So you can see the flower right there. And then she's got the hair clips that actually finishes the hair nicely as well. And you've got some strands that come forward onto her shoulders in the front, just a little bit. So it's really, really nicely done. And then onto the face as well. The face looks absolutely really, really clean and beautiful in my opinion. The eyes are really, really nice, matching the hair color as well. So really, really nicely sculpted face, nicely painted face, really clean so far throughout. So if you look closely, you can see her earrings on both ears, identical earrings, and they aren't sculpted on, so they should wiggle a little bit. It's the left one that usually I spot the most, but that's a really cool attention to detail and just a nice little addition in my opinion. Then we come down to the blouse and then the jacket that's swaying as well. So the sculpt of the sway is really nice. Just going on over the details, so you got the details here of the little bow being tied, really nice. Nothing special really speaking, but it's a nice little touch for an overall blouse design. You can see some sort of flower patterns here as well. Hopefully I can show you that. Really cool details, or similar pattern happening here, but then you've got some barcode happening, which doesn't really say much. I believe it's all kind of dummy stuff. It doesn't really, it's supposed to be some text, I guess, and a barcode, but yeah, you can't read anything on that. But really nice detail. Really like the design of the blouse in general. Got the gold buttons coming down as well. Let's see if we can show you the underside of that, but I've got to watch the blade, otherwise I don't want to snap that by accident. So I'm just going to tilt it upside down there. So you can see the little, this pattern here thing kind of wraps around to the back as well. On the jacket right here, you can see on the lapel, it says AZ and then S. It's really tiny. On the jacket, you may have also spotted the phrase noblesse oblige going down her sleeves as well, which is nicely done too, just continuous text. Both sleeves have that, you can see on the other one down here. Keeps going on as well. So you got really nice jacket swaying here, with a nice kind of brown color with black as well going on in the paintwork. So it looks really nice. Honestly, the paintwork on this figure is super cool. Love the shading on it. Love just the highlights and then just all the details going on so far. Then we kind of go down a little bit more. But before we get down to the skirt and everything, I'm just going to show you her ID card thing here. So this little pattern is also on the weapon bit. And there's also on the box. Some barcode thing again. So similar sort of barcode design that's on her chest here exists here. So you can't read anything. But it's an interesting thing to have just her ID tag or badge just kind of swaying there as well. So that's pretty cool detail there. Then we come on to the harness or the holsters here. So it says Knight on there. Now, one of the things I'm assuming or presuming of this illustration series is each character has a job role, you might say. So I think the one that's coming out in end of this year, D, is supposed to be Dragoon, just because of the she has like a lance weapon or something. So that's my assumption, that this is supposed to be now, I guess, a knight. But correct me if I'm wrong. That'd be cool either way if they assign specific jobs. The other figure that they've done, I think B was the second figure they did after S. Maybe it was the other way around. I don't remember what kind of class that figure had, but it was definitely a different weapon set for that one. But I haven't bought that one actually. But anyway, let's continue on with the holster. So you can see there's a gun sitting here. You can't remove that gun, or at least I tried a little bit, but I didn't want to try too much to break anything. But it's there, sculpted, really nice. So this is just plain grey. They maybe could have done a little bit of like cool paintwork there, leather paintwork there, but they didn't. I think they just kind of kept it simple. It's not bad at all, but it's nicely sculpted anyway. So that's really cool there. The skirt design is really simple. It looks professional. I like it. I like the details on it. It's nothing like fancy, and for me that works really well with this character design overall. You can see the folds going on all around, and then the highlights as well in the paint. It looks really nice, really nicely done. I didn't mention the gloves actually, so let's talk about those. The glove designs are pretty interesting. I like them. I mean, I don't hate them either. I like them. I think they're pretty cool. You've got little finger stuff going on here with the gloves. Maybe they're like metal knuckles. Not entirely sure. We're going to assume they're going to be some metal, lightweight metal or something. So as we get further down to the figure, let's talk about the sword as well. So the sword here, you can see really nice difference actually. So here, the guard you can see is expanded. But if we have a quick look here on the sword that's sitting in the holster, right here, it's not expanded. So you can see some details here. There's a little flower pattern in black on both sides here. And these kind of flip down and out once she removes it, is my assumption. That's pretty cool detail that they've added here. Really like the design of this sword. And it kind of continues down. And then here we go. There's no end sharp point. And that's the actual main intention of this design as well. It's not supposed to be a traditional sword. So that's really cool. I really love the design of this sword. Pretty unique in my opinion. The tights then are pretty standard tights, I guess you could say. Really nicely painted as well. Shoes are interesting, really detailed, and nice color gloss to the shoes as well. And then they fit into the base quite nicely as well. You can see those clearly. And then that kind of finishes onto a kind of rocky surface base. And on the base, it says as well, Stricia. So Stricia was also on the back of the packaging. Now I'm not sure if that ties specifically to this character in terms of name, since this is supposed to be S, but if you do know, sound off below, because I would love to know more about some potential story or background between this character and the whole A to Z line in general. So on the weapon holster as well, we've got a big rectangular piece with some nice details on there, and you can see the sculpted end bit of the other sword that's sitting there as well. So the guard is not down on this one that I mentioned earlier on, but really cool detail and design for this one. The whole pattern here does remind me of Kingdom Hearts Heartless symbol. It's not exactly the same, but it does remind me of that. But really cool design overall. So one of the reasons I'm actually drawn to this character and a lot of this Neco's illustrations was because of the weapon designs were just really cool, really unique, and they just stood out a lot to me. So I liked this for the A to Z series, and I believe Neco is also doing some like high school battle armor kind of figmas as well that Good Smile are releasing. I've not got those yet, not intending to, not right now, but those looked also quite good just because of the weapons. So yeah, really like the weapons that's going on here. So yeah, there's a lot going on with this figure. They've covered quite a bit of details with this figure, and may have missed a couple of things. I'm sure I've missed one or two things at least. Bringing this video to a close then, I really like this figure. I think it looks pretty unique. It kind of stands out for being quite a cool original concept design, and that's really something I enjoyed quite a bit. Now I did pay a little bit extra because I bought this a little bit after they came out, so prices kind of went up a bit. But on retail price, I read people saying that it was actually quite a good value for money, quite a good deal, because it wasn't like Kotobukiya raising their prices every year or something. So it was actually cheap in their opinion. But yeah, I didn't get that cheap price. That said, I've got A to Z D coming out. I've pre-ordered that already, so I will do an unboxing of that one when I have that in hand. If you're able to get this for a reasonable price, I think definitely you should consider it. It's a really cool piece. Now stay tuned for when I do the unboxing later this year for A to Z D. With that said, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.